punt just to allow Cole to go after the footy.
Will Schofield, a premiership teammate of yours. Do the defenders like that? Do they get him forward and kick him up?
Yeah, don't worry about the premierships. Don't worry about what he's done. He's a backman showing the forwards how to kick goals. How bloody good.
4 in the quarter for the Eagles to the Riders' screen. We didn't have one at all in the first half. The Eagles by 17, a game-high lead.
We've got a problem here for the young Eagle. That ankle's still troubling him. We'll get down to Will again soon.
McDonald. Sheasel taps it on the ground, gives it to his mate McKercher, the left footer. Looks into the forward pocket. Curtis.
That's great. I'm not sure what you think about corralling or what you coach, but we just saw an Eagle just sitting 3 metres off rather than coming down, putting some pressure on.
Kick 2 in the opening quarter to this end of the ground. He's going to go to the drop punt, Chasky from the boundary line. Curtis trying to nurse it through. That's a superb finish. Shows us what he can do, Paul Curtis.
That's his third. So now we're starting to see the game open up a little bit. Some better entries inside 50. Speaking about that corralling, Jared, one of the big purposes of that is to allow your defenders to know where the ball will go and where it can't go. So you're forcing McKercher onto his left foot. Evidence on that side of the ground as we have a look at Hewitt once again. Deep discussion with the medical staff about, is that the second quarter where we had that kick that actually accidentally clipped the shin of George Wardlaw? So here's that incident speaking about corralling. So it's Brockman. Just wants to force McKercher to stay on that side of the ground, hoping that his defenders see the same things. Not able to spoil that over the line.
Could have fooled me. I reckon he could have gone onto his right as well, to be honest. But nevertheless, he's hit his target.
Fifth time this year he's kicked 3 goals or more in a game. Paul Curtis.
Oh, missed tackle.
Sherry keeps it going forward. Can they pinch one late, the Kangas? They all leap up, not to be. Ball hits the deck. Hanson Jr. hunting out after it. Cole to Baker. Just got it away. Hanson Jr. gets a second go. Parker running out of time. Back to Powell. Is there a mark there for North?
Yeah.
Not to be. It's West Coast quarter. And the scoreboard reflecting more of the 3 quarters of footy we've seen with the Eagles in front. An 11-point buffer. It's West Coast 5-14 over North Melbourne 5-3. The Sunday ticket here on Fox Footy with a game on the line with a quarter to go. Big game to come tonight, an even bigger one tomorrow. Big Freeze 11. You'll see it all from 2 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. And then the game to follow, the King's birthday blockbuster between Melbourne and Collingwood. Straight after that, it's into 360 with Gaz and Jared, both coaches at the desk in Craig McRae and Simon Goodwin. And then on the couch for all the analysis, the greatest of all time, Lethal Lee Matthews returns. The King's birthday right here on Fox Footy.
half of footy, they'd probably rather forget kicking 1 goal, 8. The West Coast Eagles finally found their range, booting 4 goals in that third term. This is the highlight. Defender Tom Cole in his 124th game, booting just his 5th goal, his first of the year, and didn't he, his teammates and the fans love it. We're in Bunbury for the very first time at three-quarter time. The Eagles have hit the front and they lead by 11 points, 14-44 to 5-3-33. Dermot Brereton, we saw the first real opening in that game and it came from the West Coast Eagles.
High tackling game in the first half, dropped right away in that third quarter as fatigue set in, and that allowed some of the West Coast Eagles players who felt the heat a little bit, still had a go in the first half, but it allowed them to hit the target a little bit more clearly.
One player you wanted to talk about was Elijah Hewitt. He's a top draft pick going back in 2022. He was pick number 14, finally getting a good run at it after a serious foot injury, and his stats match up.
Absolutely. 21 possessions till three-quarter time. He's had 14 contested of them, so that's a high for him. But the thing I've liked is 3 inside 50s, and he's had 85% of his time he's spent in the forward half. So he's staying forward of the centre. A high half forward he's basically playing, but he's finding the footy, and he's not a bad school player, so that's really helped him in the third quarter.
He has played every game this season. I hope we haven't mozzed him because he's come off late in that term with a bit of a foot or an ankle injury. We hope he's okay.
Got that earlier. He kicked an opponent's calf.
Yeah, let's hope he's all right. Will Schofield spoke to Charlie Comben in the pre-match of this match, and he's another player who's had a really injury-riddled career. Will, what's the latest with Charlie, because he came off with a nasty shoulder injury?
Yeah, just a small update on Charlie Comben. He hasn't come out of the room, so it's a really serious injury, unfortunately. They'll continue on without him for the rest of the match. We saw that big knee from a West Coast player in a contest in that third quarter. Bo Allen's the sub at West Coast as well. And just out of interest, in the pre-season, these two sides played each other. West Coast was 21 scoring shots to 9. North Melbourne led that one. West Coast ended up winning it, so maybe North makes a late comeback in this one.
Thanks, Will. It's certainly something to look out for, the Roos. They've struggled in the final term this year, as have the Eagles, for that matter. Just one final quarter victory for West Coast, but they're playing from in front, Dal.
Yeah, they are. I'm just looking at the midfield of the North Melbourne Footy Club, and this man in particular needs to get going if they're going to get over the line. But they've put those prime movers on ball again.
The game's opened up, and the game is on the line as Sherry, with a first hand pass out towards Sheasel, gives it to Davies Uniac, fleet-footed, gets a handball away to Parker, back to LDU, through centre half forward, shakes Graham, kicks into the pocket just out in front of Larkey, has to try and get there on the hop and almost dribbles it as he tackles Edwards.
Let me just get reminded why LDU is such a very good player to get out of 2 contests. Just missed that kick to Larkey and then has a fumble.
He went cold in that third quarter, had just the one disposal, and it came in the last minute of the quarter. George Wardlaw is also quiet. Hanson Jr. inside the forward 50. Darling competes. Ball hits the deck. Here's Baker. Works his way out to Duggan. To Jua. And the Eagles maintaining possession, but still not clearing. Jimby back to Jua, and now the kick outside the defensive arc. Left hump with a bit to do. Darling says, come here, as he goes and wraps up his former teammate.
Well, that's good pressure from the Kangaroos. We haven't seen anywhere near enough of it. But compared to the Eagles, they're still well off the mark. The gang tackle, the collective tackle.
Roos home game in the southwest of Western Australia in Bunbury at Hands Oval. There to be won. Coming from 11 down. Davies Uniac again. Feeds it to Daniel. Inside 50. Larkey competes. Not to be. Here's Zerha at the drop. Gets his feet. Over the top to Constanti. One more to Sheasel. He can't destroy.
Pressure, the Eagles. It's pretty clear that all week they've been talking about tackle and pressure, and we bring it, we're going to bring the heat, you'll get the victory. Well, they've given themselves a real opportunity. Harley Reid has gone deepest forward. You'll see that eventuate after this stoppage.
10-point game. Duggan off the back flank. Long down the line. Harley upstairs right on cue.
That's the Harley magic.
And now the balk as he takes on Hardiman on the mark and puts it out on the flat.
A bit of a room there.
Just one too many. One too many.
The was right. The mark was spectacular. The ball was delightful. The execution with the kick, that was off the mark.
Still to come tonight on Fox Footy, of course, the King's Birthday Eve clash. So you'll get Essendon and Carlton right here following bounce. Back down the wing, Jitney over the top, punches it back inboard. Daniel needs a come on bounce, gets it. Now heads to centre half forward. There's a few blue and white jumpers. One of them, Parker, feeds it to Sheasel. Can he finish it off? Hangs in the air. Too long for Constanti.
Oh, great. Well, smother, punch and roving.
There's Baker on the end of it. Duggan with the spoil. Now the kick down the line. Pink. Fair piece of it. I'll be paid.
And it was Duggan that came across with that spoil.
Yep.
It was well executed. We see that chopping of the arms quite often, so he executed that perfectly.
I want to lift out Oscar Allen. He was badly positioned there. He needed to know that he was too far away.
In some territory battle here, the Roos. Parker at the drop. Sends it down to half forward. Clever by Zerha. Constanti back to the ball as he's mowed down.
Just tackled by been awesome, Bill, from the Eagles.
When they apply themselves, you can here's that spoil. That's a nice ball. Football, all football. We spoke about what they did last week, what they didn't do.
Parker trying to get the kick away and smothered.
And that was that tackle pressure. They had 47 total last week, as we've spoken about. They had more than that in the first half today.
Clearly a focus. McLeod will be thrilled, but no point winning the tackle if you don't win the match.
And North Melbourne pressing in the opening couple of minutes of this fourth quarter.
They're the only 4 inside 50s, a category which has been lopsided West Coast way throughout the day.
Better from Sheasel.
Hewitt comes up with it. Out to the back flank. In front of Hoff. Sends it to half forward. It's a good kick and Cripps takes the mark.
Benadari, there's no one there.
Cripps gives Harley a chance. One out in the cage. Hands on it. McKercher wins the battle. Gets stacked in the process, but finds McDonald and North can work it out. Or perhaps they can't. Here's Cripps. Paddles it out in front. Still in dispute.
Good tackle pressure once again. Rick Valley Reid was probably a bit stiff not to get a push in the back. Maybe the umpire hadn't caught up with the fast play, but once again the tackle pressure has given them an opportunity.
There's a holding the ball freeze today. Bottom right of screen. 6-zip. West Coast Eagles. Only the 6th of them there as Davies Uniacke trying to get himself involved here early in the final term. Jack Graham is going to try his chances from outside. It's touched off the boot. Live footing top of the goal square. Brockman, slick hands. Past Hoff, Constanti. Puts Hanson Jr. under pressure. Hoff through traffic. Now out to Brockman against the boundary line. Sharp angle, he's kicked it. Tyler the creator.
Massive goal, and that is just pure goal-kicking genius. Came from a very deft little tap to get it out into the open space, but Harley Reid once again a little bit stiff. I reckon he got pinged in the goal square, but nevertheless, this was just a miraculous goal to give them a pretty handy lead. You see Reid on the deck there, but little scrum, ball gets thrown up in the air, and then the tap. The tap was excellent, but the goal was superb.
Little solo from Hoff.
Yeah.
And the tap. That's a tight angle. It's a good finish. That's lovely. And a day that's been riddled with errors and poor goal kicking. Just talking about those tackles. So 6 free kicks combined.
Yep.
For holding the ball from 111 tackles.
Well, they're after efficiency.
Yep. Remembering it was 1-13, the West Coast Eagles, so they've now gone 5-1 from that point on. It's North out of the middle here, and they've got it all to do, the Kangas, and they're home away from home. There's Marek. Gives a hand pass away to Harley. Here go the Eagles down the wing. Graham kicks to centre half forward. Archer Reid.
Punch the hands.
The Eagles take the advantage. Brockman gives it back to Archer. Swings it wide, and Reid puts it on the chest of Hutchinson.
Keeps improving, this young bloke.
Booed in the Optus Stadium meeting last year, around 13. It was 11 days after he was drafted, so straight out of the Collingwood VFL, heads west. One run around of the twos and straight in.
Big goal is
Hutchinson from outside 50. The drop punt is on target, and Sherry has to save it on the line.
that is great work from Cherry.
That's great goal line defence.
He doesn't get down there, that's game over.
Yeah.
Can they respond, the Kangaroos? Just waiting for something, Del. Who's going to lift?
It's been an underwhelming showing for the Kangas today. Davies Uniac spills that. Cole gives it to Reid. Hand pass back inboard. Baker runs onto it, gaps it inside the front 50, and Marrick.
No, he's got this in him.
Yep. Hasn't kicked a goal this year. He's been moved back. Has spent some time as a forward previously. That's good composure from Baker.
Been good today, hasn't he?
Yeah. He's crafty, finds the right options more times than not. There's a blood rule, I believe.
Yeah, the umpire's marked up.
There's Baker coming for a well-deserved rest.
Yep.
Andrew McCoulter worked with him at Richmond when they were very successful.
That's when the man they wanted off. Here's Ryan Marrick. Big kick in the context of the game. Marrick skips in. He's got a bit to do from there, and Sherry can't kill it. And in the end, Daniel has to usher it through.
So we've still got a tick under 14 minutes to play. So it's not desperation state. It's not where you start taking unnecessary risk if you're a Kangas player, but they need to find some energy on the football, some overlap handball. Because at the moment it's death by 1,000 cuts. They can't move from their back half, and it's getting turned over.
Energy's the right word, though, Del. You just don't feel it.
They've got to be a team they haven't been all day to win from here north as McDonald kicks down the wing. Through the hands of Larkey. Out the back, still alive. Chindy has to cough it up. Oh, Larkey, too casual, caught. Edwards being rewarded.
Another tackle. 75% tackle efficiency. Best since 2020. And the focus of training all week from all reports.
Spills through the hands of McDonald. Hewitt's held up. It's amazing how we see that, isn't it? And Hawthorn obviously got the response they wanted back on Thursday night. But effort, top category, focus, response.
Yeah, Coogee Beach or Clay Valley Beach.
Yes.
I think it was the threat of Port Melbourne Beach that...
About the Swans, yeah, amazing. They had 7 tackles in the first quarter and then about 70 odd after that.
Here's that tackle once again. It just makes you realise that the game is very complicated. There's a lot of things that need to occur, but it's pretty simple at the end of the day.
You get the energy right.
Yep.
Everything else seems to fall into place.
Do the basics over and over.
Alistair Clarkson, who's undefeated against coach's box walls, he goes a little easy on the ones through the hands oval.
That had to be a throw.
Sure. He's caught holding the ball.
That's
Free kick for Stevens.
Well, there's their first of the day. Should have been one a second earlier, but it got there in the end.
Short kick to Powell. What can the Kangas do here?
That's 50.
And Finn O'Sullivan is going to be marched inside 50, and the young man has a chance to kick his first goal in the big time.
It's amazing the players who just can't get their head around this rule. That's a huge 50. Kicks this goal, they're back in it.
Boy from Corroy, the youngest man on the ground today at 19, celebrating his 19th birthday since the team last played. Finn O'Sullivan, picked 2 in the draft. He's got it. And he's picked a great time for his first goal in AFL footy. This game's back on.
Absolutely, but even the celebration of that goal is a little bit almost like, oh, we have to do it, rather than being sort of instinctive. But a 50-metre penalty on a rule, I think this is one Greg Swan needs to get right early. Just
What do you want him to do?
A bit of re-education on this rule. Whatever it is, let's get the competition re-educated on it.
So it appears, is it Brockman on the far side?
I think it's the man on the mark who goes on the mark and then continues to go back.
So he comes from behind the kicker, but then doesn't stay on the mark.
Yeah, so he's, by definition, he's probably delaying the play without actually stopping at any point and then drifting outside of them, trying to drift outside the 5.
Well, he's going through the protected zone.
I've got no issue with that.
10-point game. A game in which goals have been hard to come by. Graham trying to usher it out. Liam Ryan has a go. Feeds it through, but straight to McKercher. He sends it straight down the pipe for North. In from the side, good mark, Edwards.
Great mark.
Tell you what, he's putting a game together, this young bloke.
Yeah. Larky goalless so far today, and has done some nice things to propel the Eagles back the other way.
West Coast are 1 goal away from breaking the heart of North Melbourne.
Next goal critical in this contest as Hunt down to half forward. Williams went early, Logue held up. It's the 2 backup rucks wrestle. Graham away to Daniel, didn't take the first option. Cripps caught him and the unforgiving.
Very forgiving.
So they've still gone 1-on-1 behind the football. So the Kangaroos have got no drop-off. Oscar Allen sitting at the top of the goal square.
Sheasel through traffic, Simpkin left it behind. Kelly puts it inside 50 for the Eagles. Kind bounce for Oscar Allen. Can he get the ball? Goes back a second time. Cripps tackled by Sheasel. Had to lock him up and he did. Parker to McKercher. Out to O'Sullivan. Comes out of the defensive arc. Chimby bangs bodies with Wardlaw on the wing. Here's Baker and he goes back. Finds Cole. Wants to spin down to his side and works his way through. Chimby kicked out of play.
Yeah, looking for the boundary line. That was brilliant play from Cole. Came back boundary side.
Down in front of Will Schofield.
Well, it's worth noting, boys, that Bo Allen still hasn't been subbed into the game, and Charlie Comben's just made his way back to the bench, so good to see him. Jamie Cripps also hasn't found his boot, still with 1 boot in the forward line.
Hopefully it's his kicking boot.
Hanson, away to Powell. Hand pass to centre half back. McKercher's got to be nimble when he is. To Powell. Over the top to Constanti. Sells the dummy. Constanti keeps it moving. Kicks to centre half forward. Turnover looms. Cole to Hoff, who had the initial touch. Halfway through this final turn, the Eagles by a couple of goals, and that kick won't do it for now. Logue. The Eagles with twice as many inside 50, 60 to 30. Dangerous kick into the corridor. Works out for Hanson Jr. He'll head up front himself and put it on the chest of Sheasel. Sheasel keeps it going. Over the top to Zerha.
Well, that's the first corridor kick that they haven't cut off, and they looked as if they were going to cut it off. They weren't onto it, weren't as desperate as they have been, the Eagles. And it's going to be a pretty strong price to pay. This was good work by the young fella. Yeah, just not getting back hard enough. Bit of fatigue setting in for the Eagles. Defence dropped off.
Zerha goes and charges the Kangaroos back into it. It's a one-score game in Bunbury.
That's his first for the day. Cam Zerha had a couple of good moments early in the game. Set up a couple. And you're spot on, Jared. The kick inside wasn't a great kick. It was actually a 3v2 against North Melbourne. Hanson Jr. good enough to get it at ground level. I'd like to see that again. I'm not sure if Sheasel was his designated target initially, even though it landed directly on his chest. But nonetheless, back to one kick.
Which is amazing because they have been so far off their best, North Melbourne. But they only need it for another 5 or 6 minutes. They can sneak away with a win and 4 points and get up to Perth and put in a pretty solid week ready to go for Freo.
I wonder if it changes the conversation of some of those meetings that Alistair Clarkson might be able to get them for the next 7 days. They can find a way to get over the line.
Can they get a few minutes out of Georgie Wardlaw? Usually one of the most reliable players.
Big 9 minutes coming up. Game on the line as Flynn palms it down. Here's Parker. North Melbourne with a bit of momentum. Fisher to O'Sullivan. He's dealt with after getting rid of the footy. Downfield free. North want to take the advantage. Good decision. Wardlaw down to half forward and Sheasel. So now the name brand players involved for North.
Starting to get his hands on the football. Sheasel up to 24.
Sheasel kicks to the hot spot. Larkey in the pack. Jimby over the top. Kelly gets it out of there. It'll suit McDonald. Spin move back to Hardiman. Dabs it wide to Stevens. Roos this year, by the way, 1-1-1 in games decided by under a goal. A win, a draw, and a loss. Well, the Eagles have played in 2 games and unfortunately dropped them both. Kicks to full forward. Spills to Curtis. Hands it out. Fisher. Kicks snotted. Great work. The Eagles win it back. And Brockman able to feed it to Baker. And puts it 2 wide.
Well, it was a great smother. This at least allows them to set up behind the football. Get really well organised, get your preferred matchups.
Dangerous kick. Brockman breaks it up again. Here's Harley Reid. Tries to fend off. He gets coat hanger.
Well, it was probably a good investment, the coat hanger, because they had 3 or 4 running sideways, and that stopped them in their tracks.
Paul Curtis down behind play. In the hands of the trainer.
That is a problem from North Melbourne's perspective. The most dangerous forward today, and Tim Kelly holds it up. He stays out there. Man with 3 goals for the Roos. Kelly sends it inside the attacking arc. Oscar leaps over the back. Allen can't reel it in. Here's McDonald to Davies Uniacke. To Larkey, Sheasel. Hand pass to McKercher. Not a heap up front, so he decides to run and carry. Says, come with me. Handball away to Davies Uniacke. Looks for support. Got it in Wardlaw. Back on his feet. Hand pass to Fisher. Through centre half forward. He's home stayed. Fisher. Poster.
Well, you can see that fatigue starting to set in now. The chase or their lack of from West Coast off their half-forward line. Kangaroos were running in waves. Could have even got a bit closer to goal, I reckon, Fisher. By saying that, he still should have kicked it.
Bounce to follow the footy. And then, of course, tonight, still to come, the King's Birthday Eve blockbuster, Carlton and Essendon. Right here on Fox Footy. As McDonald on the wing. Knocks it down. Hardiman trying to paddle it forward. Everyone's happy to see the boundary line, and Stevens takes it there.
Well, it's all been built on pressure. It's all been built on tackle pressure. Work rate running into defence for the West Coast Eagles. Now we'll find out whether they're fit enough to continue it through to a win.
I mean, if McCulter's any closer, he's the 19th player on the field. He's that eager.
Started the game in the box, headed downstairs and has remained there. Davies Uniacke under pressure. Baker caught. Wardlaw with the tackle.
That was a brilliant tackle.
Oh, not rewarded.
He's had no impact whatsoever, ball in hand, George Wardlaw. Just 7 possessions for the game.
Seen hotter whistles so far this year as Parker extracts it to McKercher.
Tackle.
Got it out towards McDonald. They've been so good all day, the Eagles, on that front. To full forward. Edwards looking for another wing. Goes to ground. Larkey keeps his feet. Caught now by Jimby. Ball comes out. Kelly hadn't lost it. Larkey gets a third go. To Stevens. Squeeze the kick out. Is it there? Duggan thinks he's touched it. The go-ahead score will head to the arc.
Score review. Umpire's call is touched from behind.
So the soft ball is touched. This is the 3rd time this goal umpire's asked for a second look at it. It's going to be difficult.
Again, you need conclusive evidence to overturn. So the replay must show it wasn't touched.
Was it clear, Jared? Did you see that?
Review complete.
I think it's
looking at this angle, which the ball deviates after making contact with the left hand of the West Coast defender. Decision was
Another deviation.
I can't see the deviation as clearly as some other people are, but I think we get there in the end.
And if nothing else, we fall back with the goal umpire's decision.
So they've got the same problem, the Eagles, as they had in the first half, and that is they're getting slaughtered at clearance. They've got to sort that out if they're going to get home here this afternoon.
Half a dozen minutes left. The Roos trying to keep it up front. Parker got it out. Simpkin to Hanson Jr. Back inside 50 they go. One-hander. Edwards.
Pivotal battle, this one.
He's had a fine season down back, and there's been plenty of supply, but might be as good a performance we've seen from Harry Edwards. 5 intercept marks.
Against a quality opponent as well.
Yeah. Kept him goalless. O'Sullivan, away to Pink.
Jeez, he's lifted O'Sullivan. He's a fantastic young talent. Clarko knows it's just one break here and they can hit the front.
Well, those clearances are 10 to 2 that you touched on, Jared. But a stoppage here is okay for West Coast. Allows them to reset the field, get some representation where it needs to be.
The Eagles took the lead in the third quarter. They've held on to it since. North coming now. Down to half forward. Baker, caught, dispossessed. Davies-Uniacke. Oh, fresh air shot from Powell. Simpkin out in front of it. Collects. Caught by Brock. Trying to get it out to Darling. Hand pass feeds Fisher. Runs it along the ground but misses near side.
And this time it's the Kangaroos having a run up behinds.
And Paul, this is why you practice win and save the game moments for these last 5-minute blocks. Put it on the scoreboard in your training. Play 5-minute scenarios. Know what to do in any particular moment.
I think they'd like the ball in their front half for a couple of minutes here, the West Coast. They are looking like they're running out of juice fast.
Duggan wide on the kick out. Allen flies for it. Spills out the back. O'Sullivan.
He's a beauty, this one.
Tries to take on the tackler and the ump says, I'll have it. Tristan, pick him up. Will Schofield on the boundary.
Boys, they still haven't made the sub, West Coast. Bo Allen's trying to get on, but with 4 minutes remaining, they have to get him on.
We'll stick with the same 22. That's an interesting watch. The Eagles want the fresh legs. They want the Sherrin at the moment, and that's in Finn O'Sullivan's hands, who's been excellent to half forward, and Cole kicks it off.
And probably just a little miss kick, but he'd be flagging as well. He's only a youngster, and he's had a great game.
Here's Harley Reid, the man about town. He goes wide to Jindy.
Don't think they can save this one, Dylan.
It's a little bit too far. Just over 4 minutes. It's a long time to maintain possession. Nothing wrong with long down the line. Try and get that field position.
Up over halfway. Oscar Allen, big set. Comes down towards McDonald. Pink. Up to half forward for North. Curtis. Aerial. Jindy spills it. Zerha. Caught.
And it's just magnificent stuff from Jimby. He's in the air, he bobs up like the Indian rubber man, and he's straight into the tackle. You can see why they play him in defence. He covers off for others.
Sherry to Daniel. Hand pass to Sheasel. McDonald. Back to Sheasel. Daniel spins onto his right peg. Heads to half forward. Darling flies. It's out the back. North keep it alive. Simpkins sells the dummy. Draws Baker. Hits to the hot spot. Curtis flies for it. Not to be. Fisher, a chance at the drop. His third look at the corner. Fisher shanks it.
Hit the belly of the ball. They are peppering. You're speaking about those clearance numbers, which allows them to have multiple inside 50s. 13 to 2. Which results in inside 50s, 14 to 6 for the quarter. They are absolutely dominating, struggling to convert.
Well, they're just out of tickets at the present time, the Eagles. They have lost their energy. It's only a matter of can the Kangaroos just nail one?
A little scoring blitz, West Coast either side of three-quarter time.
One clearance here can win the game for them.
3 points in it. Just the one lead change after the Eagles took over in Q3.
Oh, well done.
Hunt got it out to Harley. Here's Finn O'Sullivan, who's been enormous in the second half. Hurry kick to half forward. Hewitt trying to get it away. Fisher wins it back. He was taken high. Advantage applied. Here go the Kangas. McKercher inside 50. They need a mark. Zerha provides it.
Well, a fumble and no pressure from Harley Reid on the wing. A quick turnaround. It's why you've got to get yourself fitter, because the pressure needs to be maintained till the end. And this is a great chance for Zerha, who's been a pretty good player for them. Hasn't had a lot of opportunity, but when it's been there, he's been there.
What a moment this is, back in his home state. The bull Zerha rams it through and turns the lead around. Kangas on top by 3.
Doesn't make Alistair Clarkson any more comfortable. There's still plenty of time. Well done, Cam Zerha. A game that's been riddled and dominated by inaccurate kicking in front of goal. He seizes the moment. He holds up his end of the bargain. He kicks his second, that one being his most important.
He's been here before, the coach. He's got a lot of young players, as have Kangaroos.
It's a great grab. That's a pack forming. Stands in front of it.
Fantastic mark.
Crashes over the back, most of it from Curtis. So then we go back to the centre square bounce. So Ryan's gone back in there. We saw him there at the start of the game. Hewitt, who's got that leg injury. Harley Reid.
He owes him on Harley if he can get a clearance.
Bruce have kicked the last 3 goals in the game after falling 18 behind. North by 3 points. Hewitt on his knees is caught.
And that'll suit North Melbourne because now they can swarm this contest. Give no space. They're happy with repeat stoppages. They're controlling that part of the ground anyway.
Momentum wearing blue and white as Sherry pumps it down to LDU.
Liam Baker's been absolutely superb today. He's been brilliant for the last 6 weeks. He's in the top 20 players in the comp right now in the last 6 weeks, according to Champion.
2 minutes to navigate for North, 2 minutes to win it back for West Coast. Chua, hand pass away to Marek. He gives it to Harley, left it behind. Watermelon seeds all over his chest. And Sheasel picks it up.
Not alone, there's been a lot of that, a lot of fumbling.
3-point game. Baker bursting through the stoppage. Whacks it back inboard to Hoff. The Eagles get it up front. Bouncing footy. McDonald takes him on. Just got it out. Here's Stevens. Hand pass into the centre square. North through Simpkin. Up to half forward. They get a mark.
It's brilliant for McDonald. He's been on. He hasn't been with him all day, but he's had a hard ride to hoe, and he's done it well.
The goal kicker Zerha now the forward 50, and Jua knocks it out of bounds. There's the 2 childhood mates, Hanson Jr. and Jua. Little shove to his good power. Playing against each other for the first time at AFL level. There's Andrew McQualter. And in 2 one-score games this year, the Eagles dropped 1 to Essendon and 1 to Richmond. 3 points in it here. Sherry grabs it out of the ruck. Sweeping Polyfarmer hand pass close to the boundary line, and Joy helped out.
So West Coast are now needing some space. Put some extra players forward to the football, take the risk to concede a goal. Got to go the length of the field in a minute.
Need space and they need a miracle.
They do. Someone has to come through this stoppage. I'm looking at Baker, hit this stoppage at pace, which is unusual in your defensive 50.
The Eagles are going to go the length of the ground and prevent a goal from the Kangas. Baker, one look, Larkey traps it to Simpkin, the skipper, misses.
Well, this is where they hopefully have practiced kicking drills, because this is now or never.
They got to go the length of the ground on the kick out. 1-score game. Jua into the middle of the ground. Fling a fair pace of it. Spills down towards Sheasel. Lifts a handball. Simpkin. Can he put it to bed? Settles on the kick. The captain's goal. The Kangas 10 clear in the final minute.
And so they should be celebrating. There was no way they were winning this game halfway through the third quarter, and they've just found a way, the Kangaroos. And life in Perth's going to be a whole lot better after this result than it was what it looked like at three-quarter time. Great goal from Simpkin.
He's had an outing in Perth already this year, or in Western Australia, obviously, with his performance in the All-Stars game. Won't this be even sweeter? To paint the 4 points in the home games they've sold to the Southwest. And boy, did they do it the hard way. Fell 18 down in the last quarter. They've kicked the last 4 goals of the match. The Eagles through Hoff, drilled in the tackle. Brockman. Handball forward to Harley Reid. Long kick inside 50. McDonald punches it away for the Roos. Duggan surrenders in the tackle, and time ticking away from the Eagles.
Expect the Kangas to get some numbers behind the football now. Repeat stoppages are fantastic. Sit on the football. Sherry tap it to his chest, landed on his shoelace.
Sherry grabs it out of the ruck. You heard the umpire, he'll have it.
Just jumps on it. Sherry, he's playing these scenarios perfectly. Wants it in tight. The amount of numbers around this football.
They had to win today, North Melbourne. One way or the other. And in the end, they chose the other. Outplayed for large periods. They fell 18 behind. And the Kangaroos kicked the last 4 goals to win it. And there's no place like the home away from home. As the Kangaroos win ugly in Bunbury.
Game of football makes the investment or the investment going to the other side of Australia now worthwhile with that close victory. The last 5 encounters, the biggest margin has been 15 points. We've seen another one today.
You don't normally see a game like this.
Not like that one.
I mean, it was just amazing how inaccurate the West Coast were, how magnificent they were with their pressure.
22 more inside 50s West Coast Eagles.
Yeah, they worked exceptionally hard, but they didn't close it. They didn't close the deal. And Clarko's entitled to have a grin of satisfaction because they had to work hard. Just keep their frustrations in check, which they did. Just beg for a few players. I think Finn O'Sullivan was one of the ones that really did generate some leadership. They lost Comben, as we know. Their skipper lifted, LDU lifted all without sort of finishing his work too often. He got a lot of clearances, but unfortunately his kicking disposal wasn't at his best. Christian Cherry, he just had a huge first quarter and a huge last quarter.
And it was him around the stoppages that ultimately got them over the line, and then particularly in that last quarter, had 11 more clearances in the last quarter and 22 in total for the course of the game. So it was significant. But they needed to find a way. They were 11 points down at 3/4 time, the Kangas.
Luke Parker, I mean, he's probably paid his way in that quarter. 10 possessions with 4 clearances, 5 tackles from the old man. He really saved his best for last.
They led by 17 points to Roos at one stage in the opening quarter. The Eagles hit the front in the third. And then North, after falling 18 behind, had to kick the last 4 goals to win it. And this is the one to put it on ice. It's Jai Simkin. Didn't rush it, closed down by Harry Edwards, steadied on it to pop it through. Old cake and ice cream now in Bunbury for the Roos.
Bunbury, I like it. So Luke McDonald also, I thought he had a fantastic last quarter.
And that particular moment that you spoke about where he took one for the team, resulting in a 50-metre penalty and a goal.
It was probably the turnaround.
It was.
There was a goal on offer at the other end of the ground which would have probably sealed it, but Luke McDonald, he put the body on the line, got the 50-metre penalty, and it was all over.
It's a big win for the Kangaroos.
All right, well, the sound's gone off, folks. I don't know why that happened, but there we go. Oh, no, here, it's back.
The game was about intensity around the ball. So Andrew McCulture and the playing group can tick that off. They did that part of the game. This week they can practice goal kicking and maybe some connection going inside forward 50. They've had 63 inside 50s, 22 scoring shots, plus a handful that went out of bounds on the full.
It's tough yards, though, when you're a club that's on the rebuild, down on talent. They've worked absolutely to fatigue. They've worked so hard, and yet they've come away grabbing a defeat from the jaws of victory.
It's Jake Waterman, arm in a sling, speaking to a couple of old people that used to play in the West.
Will Schofield down there on the boundary for Fox Footy with the winners. Will.
Now, we haven't found Jack Darling, but I reckon I've done maybe one better even. Luke Parker's with me, mate. You started in the forward line, they touch you in the middle. Old boy, you still got it? Yeah, trying to. There's out of the cage a bit early and a bit more of that outside roll. So try and help the boys out down there, and got a lick in the last quarter and tried to make the most of it. What was that like, mate? Because to be honest, for 3 quarters, you boys were probably outplayed. To respond like that in the last quarter, you must be happy as a group. Yeah, really proud with that. I think probably the flip side, earlier in the year we've played a good 3 quarters and haven't finished the last quarter. So it was nice to be able to play some, it would have been a pretty ugly game or not some great football with the first 2-3 quarters, and then to slowly just at least steel ourselves that last quarter, 3 goals down, and come back to keep that composure is hopefully some really good growth for the boys. So yourself, Caleb, Jack, all senior players getting added to this group. Is it something you guys spoke at 3/4 time? Did Clarko? Was there a message? What was said? Yeah, I think for us it's just about keep swinging and keep playing our game. Don't go into our shells. And I think the last 5-10 minutes was just trying to, especially the older boys, maybe a bit more experience, and trying to keep that composure out there. I thought the boys handled it really well. Yeah. And Charlie Comben, do we have any update there, mate? Did you get to speak to him at all? I don't know. He had a little bit of a sore shoulder, so not too sure with that. Great win, mate. Really good. Go and enjoy it. Thanks, mate. Cheers. There we go. That is Luke Parker. And Chief, I think it's time for you to get started with Bounce.
Thank you, Will. A great win to North Melbourne. A home game in Bunbury, if you can believe that, but they got the job done. Another big game still to come tonight. That's the Blues taking on the Bombers. But right.
All right, there we go. I tell you what, yeah, what a final quarter. Have a look at that. Have a look at that worm, folks. You'll see North Melbourne shot out in the opening term. 3 goals, 2 to 5 behinds for the Eagles. Of course, North only put on 1 behind in the second. Eagles 1 goal, 3 in the second term. But then the Eagles just came back, took control. 4 goals, 6 in that third term. The Eagles and North Melbourne 2 goals. But the Eagles just ran out of legs in that final term. What's the odds of the game? Who is the favourite before the game? I'm not sure because I only got here a little bit late. I think, from memory, I think it would have been probably North Melbourne. I think North Melbourne would have been favourite for this game. There we go. 1 goal, 2 in the final term for the Eagles. North Melbourne running the game out strongly, full of legs, 4 goals, 5. Well done. You did fantastic, North Melbourne. They'll be happy. As you can see, the behinds, the inaccuracy of the kicking of the West Coast Eagles certainly cost them in today's match. 9-8, 62 North Melbourne, 10-point winners over the Eagles, 6-16. Wow, let's just have a look at some of the players' stats and the goal scorers for this game. Paul Curtis, he topped it with 3. Cameron Zurhaar with 2. Got a nice late one in that final term. Jai Sinkin with 2. Liam Ryan, Parker. No, Ryan's for West Coast. Parker O'Sullivan, single goal scorers for West Coast. Jack Williams, Liam Ryan. Elijah Hewitt, Tom Cole, Tyler Brockman. Disposal getters. Well, who are the magnets? Colby McKercher. Look at that. About the top 8 out of 9 were all for North Melbourne. Colby McKercher, 35 touches, fantastic, 5 clearances, as was Tom Powell. 30 touches, 5 clearances. Caleb Daniel, little pocket rocket, 29. Schneasel, 28, did fantastic. The best for the Eagles, Liam Duggan there on 23. Let's just roll down a little bit. Eagles gave up once again. I tell you what, TPM, they just ran out of legs. You could see it in that last quarter. North Melbourne were just running. They felt the urgency. Look, as much as the Eagles tried to stop them, they just couldn't. They just ran out of legs. And that's what the commentator was saying during the game, especially for Harley Reid. This is why you got to be fit. And you got to keep getting fitter and fitter because you got to be able to play out 4 quarters and 4 quarters of good hard pressure, and especially when the game's on the line, you've got to be able to continue. The Eagles just couldn't do that. They just were found wanting. Plus 65 in the disposal count to North Melbourne today. Inside 50s, North Melbourne, that was a good job. 41 inside 50s, they took victory with their limited scoring shots. 63 inside 50s. West Coast had plenty of more chances, folks. They just couldn't kick accurate. They had the better of the free kicks too, did West Coast. 26 free kicks, 16 North Melbourne. The hit-outs North Melbourne, plus 8 there. The clearances dominated by North Melbourne. It's plus 18 there, so that's a big discrepancy, 42-24. Centre clearance is all tied up, eight apiece, but the stoppage clearances, North Melbourne just in control there, 34. Plus 18, more than doubled the Eagles. Contested, pretty similar there. Uncontested, North Melbourne on the early part of the game, controlling the game. And in that final term, turnovers pretty high from North Melbourne. Eagles just under season average, 75-59, marks pretty similar. Good to see both teams getting a bit of opportunity inside their forward 50, 7 marks North Melbourne inside 50, and 12 to the Eagles. Eagles finding a little bit more space. But you just got to take your opportunities. Contested 11 apiece, both in the contest. You got to take your opportunities, folks, when they come. That's the detriment of especially kicking not accurate. It can get you come back and bite you on the bum. Exactly what happened to West Coast Eagles. So the tackles inside 50 for West Coast were fantastic at 23. Season average only 8.5, so they did fantastic there. And actually both teams, when you look at it, 66 for North, their tackle count, 81 for the Eagles. Both teams above their season average. So both for pretty good size. But it was a fantastic game. One game we thought was going to be interesting, and it certainly turned out interesting, didn't it? As I said, you have a look at this worm at the beginning. North Melbourne come out of the gates hard, took that lead. The Eagles was being able to steady their ship. They got one back, and then it was steady until halfway through that third term. Then the West Coast Eagles came back, took control, goal for goal. And as I said, about a third of the way through that final quarter, 12-minute mark of that final quarter, North Melbourne put the hammer down, and that's where Eagles, their fitness sort of gave out, and North Melbourne were just full of running like it was the start of the game, and then they took control and ran away with it. But another fantastic game, really interesting game. Hey, folks, don't forget, we've got another game coming up. Not too far away, and of course, about an hour and 20 minutes. We've got another big match coming up here at the MCG, 7:20 p.m. Melbourne time. Carlton taking on Essendon. That should be a fantastic game. That one later in just over an hour of time. So make sure you come along and tune in if you want to listen to that, or even if you're watching it on TV or somewhere, you can jump in the chat and have a bit of a comment, and the other folks are doing the same thing, and you can have a chat about the footy if you like that. It's always a little bit of fun having everyone in here. But that is for sure. Good to see you. Liver in the chat. Oscar Forbes, good stuff. He said go the Roos early when they were behind. Got up for him. Ryan, good stuff. Stud Muffins, how you doing? Michelle. Ella Rose was in there as well. Carly, good to see you. Immortal Wolf, good man. Glitter, how you doing? And of course, TPM, Smilesma. There we go. And of course, passed away Natine, the famous manager, in the house. So not all lucky to have the manager in the house today. All right, folks. Hey, that's enough of me jibber jabbering on here. Thanks everyone for coming in for this short one. As I said, I only got the last quarter and a touch of this because I have been out. So that's why it was a little bit late, but at least we got to see the exciting part of the game. Of course, that's when the Eagles were hit the front, and North Melbourne made their strong comeback. So Clarko, he'd be a very happy coach of North Melbourne today, and well deserved. I think their form's been reasonably good, North Melbourne, and of course they've been gradually working into it, and I think a game like today will certainly boost their confidence once again. And in those tight games where you need to win, come from behind, I think this is another stepping stone for North Melbourne as well in their game, that they can get that job done. They can certainly get that job done. All right, folks. Hey, that's enough from me. Hey, thanks everyone for coming in. We did have the poll. 64% did go for North Melbourne, so well done to everyone there. And that's it. I am over and out for this game, this coverage. Thank you again, once again, everyone for coming in. I hope you enjoyed it. For all those North Melbourne fans, congratulations. The West Coast Eagles fans, commiserations. Tell you what, the Eagles have still got a fair bit of work to do. Yeah, I'm just not sure what the Eagles are going to do. But North Melbourne, well, give them another year or two and they should be quite good. Maybe even adding a couple of extra players in their lineup would be fantastic as well. Don't forget, folks, to join me in just over an hour's time. Carlton taking on Essendon MCG. It's going to be a ring-a-ding-ding game. Come along and join us on this cold night here in Melbourne, 7 degrees at the moment. Chance of rain. Should be interesting if it's a wet match, but so far so good. All right, folks, that's it. Ciao for now, and we'll see you at the next game in a little bit over an hour.